my name is Kat, and my favorite book of all time is getting a sequel, and I have zero chill about it. So, hi, hello. For those of you who might be new here, my favorite book of all time is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I first read this book the week it came out in October 2015. I was at New York Comic Con, so I was just reading whenever I could between activities. And the first time I read it, I enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, that's like a solid 4.5 stars. You know, the beginning was kind of slow, but I loved Baz and Simon and the whole gang so much. Upon finishing it, I was just happy. I was like, yeah, that's a good book. But then I felt the urge to read it again, which hadn't happened to me for a while, and especially at this point in time, October 2015, that was a great month for book releases. You know, I had other things to read, but I just wanted to read this again. So I did. And then I read it a third time, and then a fourth time. And the more I read it, the more I appreciated it. Like, I started to get more out of it. It was a very rewarding reread. Like, every time I reread the book, I found something new to love about it. It very quickly became my most reread book of all time. I read the physical book from start to finish more times than I can count, more times than any other book. And then when you factor in the audiobook, things get a little ridiculous, because there is a point in my life where I would listen to the audiobook literally every night as I was trying to fall asleep. Like, I would just listen for like half an hour a night, just replaying the audiobook over and over and over again for months. And it got to the point where answering the question, what's your favorite book, was no longer like an overwhelming question where I'm like, oh my god, what do I say? Like, do I say Harry Potter because that series meant so much to me when I was younger? Do I say the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series because the writing in that is just mind-blowing? What's my favorite book of all time? This. It has to be this. It has to be this. This book just captivated me in a way that no other book ever had before it, and no other book has since. I could make a whole video about how genius I think this book is, like from the characters to the story to the twist on the chosen one trope where the prophecies aren't prophecies but a recipe. Like, genius! But this is not a video about the brilliance of Carry On. No. This video is about me absolutely losing my shit over the cover and synopsis of the sequel. Last June at BookCon, Rainbow Rowell announced the sequel to Carry On. I was also at BookCon where Rainbow Rowell was, where she was making this announcement. However, the moment she announced this wonderful news, I had just started a 3-hour meet and greet, and I didn't have access to my phone. So for the first few hours of this news being out in the world, I had no idea. It wasn't until my meet and greet was almost over that someone near the end of the line asked me how I felt about the Carry On sequel. And I was like, the what? And then I dramatically fell to the ground, because much like my son, Tyrannus Basildon Grimpitch, I do love a good scene. And yeah, it was all I talked about for the rest of the day. My poor friends must have been so tired of me just constantly bringing it up. Like, they would ask me a question, and I would ask them, have you heard about the Carry On sequel? Of course they'd heard about it. I told them already multiple times. And now we are gathered here today to view the cover and synopsis for WAYWARD SON by Rainbow Rowell, out September 24th. This video isn't sponsored or anything. Like, I've never done any sponsored content for Carry On, though I would absolutely love to. But I feel like no one's gonna pay me to talk about it because I talk about it so much naturally. It's about 1 p.m. right now in California, so I'm sure the cover dropped hours ago, and I'm sure I have a bunch of notifications from people wanting to know my reaction, but I put my phone in airplane mode and disconnected it from the Wi-Fi, so I could have my first reaction on camera. So that's what we're gonna do. Right now, I'm gonna go to Rainbow Rowell's Twitter and I'm gonna see the cover with my eyes, and then I'm gonna read the synopsis also with my eyes. My eyes are having a great day. There will be spoilers for Carry On, I assume. So, spoiler warning. Okay, let's do it. Let's look at the cover. I'm kind of nervous. Why am I nervous? I wanna love it. I really wanna love it. Whew. Okay, we're going to twitter.com/Rainbow Rowell. Oh, my heart. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Oh my God. Oh my God. Simon and Baz are back and they're coming to America? Oh shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Baz is so beautiful. Okay, so it doesn't really match the original cover, but I like that it's still yellow and blue. And honestly, I like these illustrated covers better. Like, this matches the paperback cover. Let me grab the paperback cover. So it matches the paperback cover. And I don't know. The original cover is like classic and ingrained in my heart. But I love this art so much. Like, the artist, Kevin Wada, is amazing. Like, this cover is gorgeous. This new cover is gorgeous. I feel like it's gonna have more words on it, right? Like, it's gonna have a blurb or like #1 New York Times bestseller kind of thing on it. Also, Simon with blue wings is really interesting because, like, are his wings just blue as an artistic choice for the cover to like match the blue and yellow scheme of the first book? Or are his wings blue now? What's up with that? Okay, let's read the synopsis. Oh my gosh. Simon and Baz are back. Whoo! Yeah, they are. I'm just gonna read it to you. The story is supposed to be over. Simon Snow did everything he was supposed to do. He beat the villain, he won the war, he even fell in love. Now comes the good part, right? Now comes the happily ever after. So why can't Simon Snow get off the couch? Oh, my baby. What he needs, according to his best friend, is a change of scenery. He just needs to see himself in a new light. That's how Simon and Penny and Baz end up in a vintage convertible tearing across the American West. They find trouble, of course. Dragons, vampires, skunk-headed things with shotguns. And they get lost. They get so lost, they start to wonder whether they ever knew where they were headed in the first place. Okay, so we didn't really get a lot from that synopsis, right? Like, all we really know is that Simon, Baz, and Penny are going to America and they're gonna have some adventures, right? Like, we didn't get a whole lot else. So I'm gonna take this time to share some of my personal hopes and theories for Wayward Son. So one thing that I'm pretty sure we're gonna get, especially now that I know we're going to America, we gotta get a reunion with Agatha, right? I wanna see Agatha's reaction when she finds out that Simon and Baz are together. And I want Agatha to give Simon the picture of his mom, but he doesn't know that that's his mom, but he has to find that out. He has to find that out. And I hope Agatha is happy. I hope she's been living a good life in California. I hope we get to see some of that. But yeah, back to Simon and him discovering the truth about who his parents were. Like, I need that to happen. And I also really want to see Simon reunited with his remaining family, because he does still have living family. Lucy's mom still goes to the club that Agatha's parents go to. So Simon has a grandmother, and Lucy also had a brother who wasn't magical enough to attend Watford. So Simon also has an uncle and maybe cousins. I want him to discover that side of his family and maybe meet them. I feel like we'll also be meeting Micah, Penny's boyfriend, and I'm excited about that because we really don't know much about him. So his personality, his dynamic in the group is going to be really interesting. Now this one might be a long shot, but I want Simon to have magic again. The prophecy recipe that made him the way he was. I hope that didn't ruin him forever for magic, because he does still have mage parents. He should still have magic of his own, right? Can he have magic again? I don't know. I know Simon loves magic, and I want him to have magic again because he loves it. There's a mention of vampires in the synopsis, so we're gonna run into some American vampires. That should be interesting. I'm definitely intrigued to see what kind of like vampire mythology we're gonna learn in this book. Like, Baz still doesn't know much about being a vampire. You know, it's not like you get a manual. So, like, is he gonna live forever? Is he gonna age slowly? Like, what's up with Baz's vampirism? Speaking of vampires, I have a Nicodemus theory. I think we might be getting a storyline involving Nicodemus and Fiona. I don't know what exactly is gonna be happening there, but I feel like they're gonna have some kind of subplot going on in this book. What I would be really interested to see is, okay, there's this line about how Nico and Eb could use each other's wands. When Nicodemus was turned into a vampire, his wand was taken away, so he doesn't have access to magic anymore. But with Eb gone, like, what happened to her wand? Where is that gonna end up? Can Nicodemus have that and do magic again? So yeah, those are my main theories and hopes for what we might get out of this book. Nobody better die. If anyone dies, I'm gonna be very upset, inconsolable. I don't want a sequel if it means that like Simon and Baz, one of them is going to die, or they're somehow not gonna be together at the end of it. Like, if we don't get them having a happy ending, I don't really want the sequel. I'd rather just have the one book. But I don't think Rainbow Rowell would do that to us. Like, Carry On is a love story, and I feel like Wayward Son is going to be also kind of a love story, but more about like healing and, you know, finding themselves again. So they better end up together and happy by the end of this sequel, or I will riot. But yeah, I think that's it. Those are all of my thoughts and feels and reactions to the Wayward Son cover and synopsis. This is without a doubt my most anticipated book of the year. It's been my most anticipated book since it was announced. And I saw that Rainbow answered a question about ARCs and confirmed that there aren't going to be any early copies of this book. So September 24th is the day. I need to clear my whole schedule. I'm not doing anything else that day but reading this book. But yeah, that is gonna be it for this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear from you guys what you think of my theories, or if you have any theories or hopes or desires for Wayward Son, let me know in the comments. And yeah, I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Bye!